Hi, I'm Peggy Hanson. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade, fresh, unpasteurized sauerkraut from raw white winter cabbage. This nice tight head of cabbage. The first thing you want to do is cut it into quarters. This is 1/4 of the cabbage. Core it and then slice it as thinly as you can. And you're going to want about 5 pounds of cabbage. That will yield about 1 gallon of sauerkraut. 5 pounds of cabbage kind of after coring. A good sharp knife and a board, and you just cut it like this.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
Now we've got the slicing just about done. You want to make it as thin as you possibly can. Some people use special kraut cutters for this, or a mandoline, but I just used a plain knife and board. Now, this is the last quarter. We're going to put this in this big bowl. And again, this is about 5 pounds of cabbage. I might have had a little less in here. Now we're going to add salt. That's all that sauerkraut is cabbage and salt. No vinegar. This is just plain cabbage and salt. This is kosher salt. You can also use canning and pickling salt. Now, you can use from 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to use about 2.5. Some people say use less salt in the winter, more in the summer, but 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt, 5 pounds of cabbage. And I'm just going to mix this right now with my hands. You need a great big bowl to do this so it doesn't fall out all over the place. And now what we're going to do after I've mixed this a little bit and kind of squeezed it a little, so what we're trying to do, the salt is going to draw out the natural juices that are in this beautiful cabbage. See how crispy it is? Squeeze, squeeze. Oh, there's a little piece of core. I don't need that. Squeeze, squeeze. Now we're going to leave this for about half an hour and let the juices be released with this salt. And then we'll come back after half an hour and I'll show you how we're going to pack this into a crock. So this cabbage has sat in the salt for about half an hour. The cabbage is starting to release its juices. This is a squeaky clean crock. I even poured scalding water in it and dumped it out. See these juices here? We're going to get the cabbage in here. Lots of juices. All done. This is what it looks like. I'm going to punch this down even a little bit more with my hands. You can use a potato masher if you want to. Really press it down hard. Now at this point, the liquid is not covering the cabbage, but it will. Now we need to close it up because we don't want the air to get here. This is a plate that fits inside. Put this down. And now I'm going to weight the plate. This is just a double bag of water. That's going to weight down the plate. And I'm going to check this tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, I have a thermometer. We're going to keep this at 65 degrees overnight. I'm going to find a little corner of the house. It's winter time. We're at 65 degrees and we're going to leave this overnight, and tomorrow morning we're going to see where it's at. Okay, now this cabbage has been in this crock overnight, weighted down, and we're going to see if the brine, where the brine is at. Now see, the brine is not covering the cabbage. You can make extra brine, 1 tablespoon of salt to 1 cup of water. That's what I have here. Pour it on. We'll see. Still may not be enough because you definitely want the brine covering the cabbage. You can stop now. I've decided to add another 2 cups of brine. They say that when cabbage is older, it does not release as much water. And I think that's what's happening here, is this cabbage has been stored a little longer. I'm pressing it really hard with this potato masher. And now I think we're getting where we need it to be. I'm going to replace the plate and the weight. We're going to cover it up. I'm going to keep it at about 65 degrees. You never want it to go over 72 degrees. Somewhere between 65 and 70 is ideal. You can put it in a corner of the kitchen or the basement. And then I would check this about every 5 to 7 days. And you can remove the weight, make sure the brine is covering the cabbage. If there's a little bit of scum, don't worry about it. That's just the air reacting with the surface. But as long as the cabbage is anaerobic, there's no air. If it's underneath the brine, it should be fine. And after about a week, you can start tasting it. And no more than 4 weeks. Don't let it ferment more than 4 weeks. And once you decide that it tastes good, then you just pack it in clean glass jars and refrigerate it, and you will have sauerkraut. Thanks for visiting.